Washington on the verge of a breakthrough?
Cooler heads at least seem to be prevailing.
The GOP offer and White House meeting that could keep the country from a financial disaster.
A travel agent in trouble accused of booking people on trips that didn't exist.
A big mess along the East Coast, clouds and rain lifting in our direction. We'll talk about how it'll impact our holiday weekend.
The Boston Red Sox get back to work, and we now have game times for the American League Championship Series. I'm live at Fenway with all the action.
Live from Boston, WBZ News at 5 starts right now.
We begin right away this afternoon with some developing news out of Washington. Talks inside the White House right now that could resolve our debt and the shutdown crisis that's ongoing. President Obama and House Republicans are meeting as we speak. Good afternoon to you. I'm Johnathan Elias.
I'm Paula Ebben. Thanks for joining us. So the two sides have something new to consider. Speaker John Boehner and other Republicans made a proposal today to pass a short-term extension on the debt ceiling. The U.S. hits that ceiling next week. And listen to the way economists and CEOs describe the consequences.
This would be catastrophic.
They all have sort of god-awful consequences.
It's going to be serious repercussions. It's going to be a collision, an economic collision that's going to wreck our economy.
Now, Wall Street certainly liked the news that there could be a deal. Check out the surge in the stock markets. The Dow Jones alone rose more than 320 points, the biggest point jump so far this year. But what happens behind closed doors is anyone's guess at this point. Danielle Nottingham is in Washington tonight.
House Republicans are offering the president a short-term extension of the debt limit as a way to end the budget standoff.
It's time for leadership. It's time for these negotiations and this conversation to begin.
GOP leaders are taking a proposal to the White House that includes extending the government's ability to borrow money until November 22nd in exchange for broader budget negotiations. The White House is open to the idea.
If a clean a clean bill raising the debt ceiling for 6 weeks were to hit his desk, he would sign that.
The Treasury Secretary came to Capitol Hill Thursday to warn lawmakers there would be irrevocable damage to the economy if they fail to raise the debt limit by October 17th. Democrats have concerns about another short-term fix.
For however long it is, 5-6 weeks, then come Thanksgiving, we're going to be back in the soup again.
Republicans say granting a debt limit extension would lead to negotiations to reopen the government.
We're meeting the president halfway, and we expect him in like manner to respond.
Hundreds of thousands of federal workers have been off the job without pay since October 1st. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, I just spoke with Senator Elizabeth Warren, who is hopeful there will be a deal, but she says lawmakers should never use threats like this to make progress.
What we're hearing from every economist, from everybody in the business community, do not default on your debts. Don't even threaten to default on your debts. You've got a budget problem. Go negotiate the budget, but don't threaten not to pay the bills as they come due.
I asked the senator if she thought the president should have done more sooner, and she said she believes he has done everything he can to get Republicans to the table.
And while Congress talks, the nation is paying the price. The Defense Department right now is worried about fuel. It says suppliers are making deliveries, but Pentagon officials are not sure how long they'll be accepting IOUs. And the shutdown of state parks is hurting local economies. A group of National Park Service retirees announced today that Massachusetts has lost more than $2 million, all because of tourists who have not been able to visit Boston's historic sites. And vacationers in New Hampshire are being kicked out of federal campgrounds in the White Mountains. Those campgrounds closed today will remain shut down through the busy and lucrative Columbus Day weekend. And at this hour, again, the meeting in the White House is ongoing. If there is a deal or any development from these talks, we will bring it to you as soon as it happens.
In the meantime, expect some very crowded highways tomorrow as people get an early start on the holiday weekend. And the one thing we need to watch closely, though, is a storm that's coming up the coast. Our chief meteorologist, Eric Fisher, has his AccuWeather forecast. What are we looking at here, Eric?
I think we're looking at the same thing we've been talking about for the last couple of days, which is good. Everything looks on target. Big coastal storm. You can see the center of it is actually down here in the Outer Banks. You see the swirl with the clouds extending way on up to the north. kind of a dreary feel outside today. The sun making it through those high clouds, and the rain is staying offshore. That's a good thing. Right now, just south of Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, maybe a little drizzle developing there this evening, but many of us will be staying dry. In fact, the vast majority of the area stays dry as we head through tonight. Mostly cloudy skies, more mild and drizzle type setup in the south coast area, also toward the islands. 40s as you move north and west of downtown Boston. The idea is that this storm is going to sit and spin for the next several days, not making a lot of progress one way or the other. The wet weather, though, largely will stay south this weekend. There'll be some rough seas, some big waves, especially Nantucket Sound, Buzzards Bay area, and some of the more exposed coastal areas off of Massachusetts. But in terms of rain, I think we're on the good side of this. We're going to talk more about it coming up just a little bit later on the newscast. Paula?
Sounds good. All right, Fish, thank you very much. And tomorrow could be the busiest travel day of the year. Last year, 690,000 cars went through the tolls on the Friday before Columbus Day. That's second only to the Friday before Mother's Day. And highway officials do not expect this year to be any different.
We do ask people to bring their patients with them, plan accordingly, because the trip will take a little bit longer due to the higher volumes of traffic. But if they pay attention, don't drive distracted, and watch the speed limit, they'll all get safely to where they need to go.
And good idea here, MassDOT will suspend all road work starting tomorrow, and the suspension will last until Tuesday.
There is a developing story to tell you about in New Hampshire. Police have spent the day looking for a missing 14-year-old girl. Abigail Hernandez has not been seen since yesterday afternoon when she left high school. Hernandez lives in Conway, New Hampshire, and that is where Whitney Burbank joins us live. Whitney?
Jonathan, we've been in Conway all day trying to learn more about the disappearance of Abigail Hernandez, but police here aren't talking. Although our cameras did catch state police cars and fishing and game cars parked near the woods near Kennett High School. A fishing and game spokeswoman would not tell me if their crews belonged or were looking for Abigail. Now here's a photo of the teen. She's just about 5'4" with brown hair, brown eyes, with a light olive complexion. She was last seen leaving Kennett High School heading down Eagles Way. Witnesses say she was wearing a black stretch pants with a gray sweatshirt at the time. Police canines tracked Abigail's scent all the way from the school to her home. Police say she arrived there before she disappeared. They spotted what looked like plainclothes police officers searching a wooded area behind the apartment complex where she lives with her mother. Now, anyone with information regarding Abigail's whereabouts is asked to call the Conway Police Department. For now, we're live in Conway, New Hampshire. Whitney Burbank, WBZ News.
Whitney, thank you. Tonight, a state trooper in trouble in court after a deadly crash. Prosecutors say John Bassler was driving drunk when he hit and killed a mother and daughter. As Jim Smith shows us, police also found Bassler's loaded gun at the accident scene.
John Bassler needed a cane to walk into court as he was arraigned on charges connected to the September 22nd head-on crash in Plymouth that killed Susan Mackey and her daughter Juliet. Police have said it appears the Mackey's car crossed the center line that night, but new court documents indicate police tests put Bassler's blood alcohol level at more than twice the legal limit.
We said it earlier, our prayers and our thoughts are with them, and that's all we have to say at this time.
Bassler's lawyer said little, but the court documents also show at least one witness saying Bassler was at a house party that night and played a drinking game. But police also say the trooper did not appear drunk at the scene. Investigators did recover Bassler's gun that night. The police report also saying friends said he had thrown the gun into the woods.
There was no sign of the Mackey family here in court today, but everybody who knew this mother and daughter is still struggling to come to terms with what has happened.
Is there anger toward the officer or the trooper?
Not from this side. You know, it's just human error. You know, I'm sure the kid is a good kid. He messed up.
The defendant refrained from driving, that he not own or possess any firearms, and that he abstained from drinking alcohol.
Bassler is not charged with vehicular homicide, but he does face other accusations, including drunk driving, negligent operation of a motor vehicle, and possessing a firearm while intoxicated. In Plymouth, Jim Smith, WBZ News.
Criminal charges could now be filed in a hazing incident involving Chelmsford High School football players. Police say the incident happened at a camp in Moultonborough, New Hampshire. The chief there tells the Lowell Sun that he has recommended criminal charges be filed against some of the players. He'll not say exactly how many he wants charged. The Chelmsford football team used that camp back in August. The school has already, they say, disciplined the players.
The Green Line's back to normal tonight after what was a tough morning for commuters. A down power line just outside Newton Center forced the MBTA to replace the D line with buses between Riverside Station and Cleveland Circle. By train, that trip normally takes 20 minutes, but today, by bus, closer to an hour.
It's annoying, yeah, because I'm going to be late, so.
I'm going to be late to my class. I missed at least half of it. But what are you going to do?
Great response, a lot of employees, but they were not very courteous, nor did they have a good plan on how to get commuters from one point to another.
Well, the power and the D-line service was restored around 1 o'clock.
Seems that City Council John Connolly seems to have the edge in the race to be the next mayor of Boston. A poll just released by UMass Lowell puts Connolly ahead of State Representative Marty Walsh by about 8%. Now, this is the second poll this week that puts Connolly out in front. Remember, the election is November 5th, and these two candidates will debate each other. They'll square off for the first time next week right here in our studios here at WBZ. Our political analyst, John Keller, will be the moderator. He'll have questions also with the Boston Globe's Akilah Johnson. You'll see the debate live here on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock again, right here on WBZ.
Well, back to work for the Red Sox, preparing for the American League Championship Series. The team worked at Fenway Park this afternoon. Still don't know who they'll play, but baseball has announced the starting times for the series. Let's get Steve, who's live at Fenway with all the details. Steve?
All right, Paula, thank you very much. It's quiet here right now, but come Saturday night, this place is going to be rocking as the ALCS gets underway. The Sox will either play Oakland or Detroit. They wrap up their series tonight out in Oakland. Earlier this afternoon, David Ortiz and the Sox were back on the field and in good spirits after having yesterday off. They fielded grounders, shagged fly balls, and took batting practice. And they'll do more of the same tomorrow as well. And when the time comes to play for real again, they should be ready to roll.
How do you guys go from, and you've done it so often now, like go from partying 2 nights ago to regrouping and getting refocused right back at it again?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. The crazy thing is we're used to playing every day, so when you have days off, throws your kind of routine off a little bit, but it's good to get back in here. Guys have to get treatment, do some hitting, ground balls and stuff like that, so we want to be out there every day. That's what we're used to.
Obviously, we've got to dump champagne a couple times this year. We're looking for a couple more, and but we're focused on what we got to do on Saturday. We'll find out tonight who we're going to play, and get back to work tomorrow.
Okay, so here's a look at the broadcast schedule for the ALCS. Game 1 will be Saturday at 8. Game 2 Sunday at 8:30. Then the scene will shift for games 3 and 4. Game 3 will be Tuesday afternoon at 4. Game 4 Wednesday at 8. Then the if necessaries. Game 5 would be Thursday night at 8. Game 6 will be back at Fenway on Saturday the 19th at 4:37. And if there's a Game 7, it will be Sunday night the 20th, also at 8. If it ends up being Detroit, well, the Red Sox finished 3 and 4 against the Tigers. They finished 3 and 3 against the A's. That's the story here at Fenway. Much more coming for you up at 6 o'clock. Guys, back to you.
We'll see you then, Steve. Thanks. Coming up for us here on WBZ News at 5 o'clock, customers call her a crook. A travel agent accused of booking vacations that didn't exist.
Using their fists to fight breast cancer, the local women stepping into the boxing ring, hoping for a knockout.
Buses are rolling again in Boston, but hear why parents still need to worry about a surprise strike.
And tonight, one of our Ask Aaron questions saying, which way is the wind blowing from anyway? Onshore, offshore, easterly, westerly? We're going to answer that along with your forecast after the break.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Cumberland Farms. Fall in love with delicious farmhouse blend coffee today. Just 99 cents any size, and only at Cumberland Farms. Here's your Peabody Essex Museum Arts Update. See what's on display this week. Enjoy Pen PM, an after-hours event, as Devil Music Ensemble plays the live score from the Kung Fu movie Red Heroin. Only at the Peabody Essex Museum in Salem, where art and culture meet.
It's made with wholesome ingredients. It tastes great, and it's competitively priced. That's H&K approved. Hearth & Kettle's 3-part approval process ensures that every meal coming out of our kitchens meets high standards for quality, taste, and value. Many of our ingredients are organic or all natural and free of hormones, antibiotics, and artificial preservatives. Wholesome ingredients, great taste, competitively priced. That's H&K approved. It's Hearth & Kettle's Oktoberfest. Pork schnitzel, kielbasa, beer-battered fish and chips, and more. Transform any room in your your home with quality custom window treatments from 3-Day Blinds. 3-Day Blinds' experienced in-home design consultants offer unrivaled convenience and service with an eye towards design and functionality that's sure to inspire. Now, we want you to inspire us. Know someone who deserves a window treatment makeover? Nominate their inspirational story at cbsboston.com/contests, and they could win a 3-Day Blinds window treatment makeover. 3-Day Blinds. You'll love the treatment.
Drop everything. For 5 days only, drop everything you're doing, or you'll miss out on best ever financing with $1,000 Toyota bonus cash. Drop everything and get 0 for 60 plus $1,000 bonus cash on 2013 Camrys. Get 0 for 60 plus $1,000 bonus cash on 2013 Camry hybrids. Plus, get these best ever offers with 2 years no cost maintenance. Drop everything because it all ends Monday. Toyota, let's go places.
It's Sleepy's Columbus Mattress Sale. With Sealy Posturepedic, Serta Perfect Sleeper, or Beauty Rest sets as low as $3.99. Get a free box spring with select models. Sleepy's, the mattress professionals, making the world a better place to sleep.
Get ready for bigger, better offers at Foxwoods Resort Casino. Enjoy 10 times free odds on craps. No big buy bets. Plus, we'll match any offer up to $500 from competitors. And we're just getting revved up. Win cash, gas cards, or a Lincoln MKZ October 27th. Earn double entries on Sundays starting October 6th. Not a Foxwoods member yet? Treat your current competitor card for a new Foxwoods Rewards card at an equal level. Only at Foxwoods Resort Casino.
A quiet, normal day on the Boston school bus routes today, but parents certainly won't be taking that for granted.
Oh, no, they still can't relax. As Sarah Kanji shows us, the issues that set off this week's surprise strike by drivers still haven't been resolved.
A steady stream of yellow leading out of the Hyde Park bus yard this morning, another sign of normalcy after drivers refused to work Tuesday, setting off a citywide frenzy to get kids to school.
Cooler heads prevailed. I think we had some concerns that some of the anger may have been lingering, and then we may have had some disruptions, but we're back to normal.
Yesterday, a meeting over grievances between the union and the bus company lasted into the night. Talks apparently broke down once Veolia announced it's suspending 2 union leaders with pay.
This union is together. We don't mean to do any work stoppage, but when you hurt one of us, you hurt all of us.
Mayor Menino hopes ultimately those responsible for the work stoppage will face even tougher action.
They should be fired. No question about it. You have 2 individuals disrupt the Boston Public Schools and the bus drivers. That's wrong.
Boston school officials say the morning pickup went very smoothly, but there's still a level of uncertainty about the near future, so parents are warned to have a contingency plan just in case. In Hyde Park, I'm Sarah Kanji, WBZ News.
Now, the buses do appear to be running well because the school department says nearly 92% of them arrived on time, which is roughly around the fleet's normal performance. It's good.
A Segway tour company that's really aggravated police and neighbors is filing for bankruptcy. The head of Boston by Segway says his company is making money, but it owes the city $200,000 in fines. The city says Segways are only allowed on streets, but the tours often take people onto sidewalks, and that's where they've racked up all those fines.
How do you rack up 200 G's of taking something like that on the sidewalk? That's a lot of money.
That's a business expense right there.
That is. It's been pretty nice out today. A little cooler, and clouds were in, but still, it's not. And
it's feeling like October.
But you can see the leaves.
Oh, the red leaves in particular.
The contrasts are great. Looking good. And of course, this is a big weekend here, so we're watching the rain. We want to give good news, and I think we can, for the most part, do that. Here's the recent radar. Take a look off to our south and west. That's where the rain is. This is all with our coastal storm that is barely moving just off the coast of North Carolina. A little bit of drizzle, some light showers trying to edge up toward Nantucket. We've got a lot of dry air being pumped in by high pressure to the north, though, and that's going to help to kind of make these showers dissipate as they try to lift their way up into New England. Otherwise, we've got the cloud deck. It's not a low overcast. It's generally an overcast, and that's creating a very mid-October-like feel. 58 degrees in Boston, 60 in Chatham, Worcester at 55, so everyone is a little bit below average today. And then tonight, we'll see those temperatures drop off. Mostly cloudy skies. We'll look at 40s for the most part north and west of Boston, staying in the 50s for much of southeastern Mass. The cloud deck is lower, and that moisture is trying to stream its way up the coast. So this big storm has been churning. It's been creating quite a bit of rainfall for the mid-Atlantic, now lifting up into Pennsylvania. The center of it is way down in here around the Outer Banks. And this is also churning up the ocean a little bit. The wave heights are starting to build. We're getting that time where certainly we start to look toward the coast and see what happens. And we've got 10-foot waves at the center of the storm, 6-foot waves starting to work their way up toward our coastline. So brisk winds will continue for the next few days, generally 10 to 25 miles per hour, and that's going to keep going all the way through Sunday. So just a pesky breeze. It's not enough to create major issues. It's just always going to be there. And then the rough surf, 6 to 10 feet. And I think the highest surf will be expected Friday and Saturday. So around Nantucket Sound, very choppy conditions will continue. If we look at cloud cover as we head through tonight and into tomorrow, it's mainly cloudy skies. We keep that idea. Models are trying to break out a little bit of sunshine tomorrow, and maybe that will be the case, but generally calling for an overcast day. And again, maybe some drizzle, some light showers for the south coast and the islands. Do not anticipate a lot of rain with this system at all. So for tomorrow morning's commute, it's a little bit of drizzle outside, some clouds, a damp, raw feel to the air, mid-50s around lunch, and probably in the upper 50s to around 60 as we head toward afternoon highs. The drizzle, the light showers sticking around. Farther south you go, the higher chance of rain. Farther north you go, better chance of sun. Our eyes on the Sox for this weekend, and for Saturday night, will be cool, mostly cloudy, but no weather issues. Sunday night, also chilly, but partly cloudy, and don't expect anything major to be happening there. And for your Columbus Day weekend, this is the general look. A mostly cloudy Saturday, a much better Sunday. We're going to go region by region coming up in the next half hour. Also, we talked about our Ask Eric question for tonight, and this one coming in, talking about wind directions. And Bernie wanted to know, if an offshore wind heads offshore, and an onshore wind heads onshore, why does an east wind head to the west? So, we've all gone cross-eyed, but let's try to talk about this a little bit. And yes, an easterly wind is an onshore wind at the same time. Why does this happen? It's one of the vagaries of weather. I don't have a great answer for it, but Bernie, you are right in what you're talking about. A westerly wind is an offshore wind as well, and you know, our classic snowstorm, our signature storm here in New England, nor'easter, is so called because the winds typically are out of the north and east here across southeastern New England. Why do they name it like this? I don't know. I have no good answer for you there. You were right in calling it the way it was. And if you have any questions, we always try to do our best. You can go to cbsboston.com/askeric, and there are also some answers to previous questions up there on the web, too. We're back at 5:30 with more weather. Johnathan, Paula, back to you.
All right, Eric, thanks so much. This really is an important question. Should police be able to use your cell phone to prove you committed a crime?
Coming up for us at 5:30, the big decision in front of the state's Supreme Court.
New college graduates still struggling to find jobs. Up next, how parents can help without hassling. And now, here's Jack with a look at what's ahead at 6.
Hi, Paula and Johnathan, thank you. They were lost at sea for us. They were desperate for rescue. How a couple on board a Caribbean cruise saved 3 men whose boat had capsized hours earlier. Well, it's a beloved restaurant on Route 1. It's been around forever. It's about to close its doors after 50 years in business. What went wrong? We'll discover that and a lot more at 6 o'clock.
When you watch BZ at 11 o'clock, use stories that break news.
Allegations that a high-profile lawyer running for public office has a disturbing past.
Investigations that get results.
Tonight, the chief of police in Revere is promising sweeping changes after an I-team investigation.
Stories you won't see anywhere else.
It has to be a bittersweet night for Mayor Menino.
John Keller was the only reporter to sit down with him tonight.
Turn to Lisa Hughes, Johnathan, Elias, and the National Emmy Award-winning WBZ News at 11.
Cause this is...
My Party is now Party City. This Halloween, be heroic, be magical. Thousands of styles, millions of costumes. Adults and kids from just $9.99. Plus outrageous accessories and decorations. Don't just be a costume, be a character. My Party is now Party City. Nobody has more Halloween for less. Drop everything. For 5 days only, drop everything you're doing. Or you'll miss out on the lowest lease payments ever on 4-wheel drive Toyotas. Drop everything and get a lowest ever $189 a month lease on a stylish 2013 Venza. Get a lowest ever $299 a month lease on an all-new 2014 Tundra Double Cab SR5. Plus, get 2 years no-cost maintenance. Drop everything because it all ends Monday. Toyota, let's go places.
Now and again, you ask yourself, how did I get here? Here, ready to throw 10 laps in the face of your 67 years. Is it just tenacity or teamwork? With personalized consultations for seniors scheduled as part of the new Wellness 65 Plus. Consultations that will help you feel and live your best and keep you here now that you've actually gotten here. Stop by and enroll free today.
Women's issues are family issues. When women get shortchanged at work, when we're not allowed to make decisions about our own bodies, we can't afford to send our kids to college, and our parents can't count on Social Security, it hurts everyone. The Republican extremists pay lip service to family values. I'll actually fight for families. These are our three sons. They'll do better in an America where everyone does better. I'm Catherine Clark, and I approve this message.
Time really is flying. 6 months now has passed since the commencement speeches, and many of those new grads still don't have jobs.
And as I found out, it's hard for parents to know what to do about that tension it creates in the family. Jennifer Zick has a new master's degree and plenty of enthusiasm. What she doesn't have is a job.
You know, I'm trying to get a couple years of experience, like administration, pretty much anything right now, so.
As graduation becomes more and more of a distant memory, it's not just students who are nervous, so are their parents.
Still a tough economy.
Darren Forrest, another new graduate, knows he's lucky his parents appreciate this tough job market, particularly tough for young people who have an unemployment rate of 13% compared to an overall rate of 7.3%.
Second you start bearing on your kids, it just makes it that much more stressful.
Job hunting has changed over the past generation, just as much as the Boston skyline has, and that's something parents need to keep in mind.
It was a lot easier in the 70s, so I would really encourage parents to empathize about how hard it is to find a job. Help your recent grad be very realistic about what kinds of opportunities are out there.
Human resource consultant Elaine Varellis says parents need to realize the whole process of finding a job is different today.
Often parents have very dated ideas of what it takes to get a job. Most likely, they're not going to find their job in the paper. Parents may feel that that new graduate is spending time on a computer, is not looking for a job. Chances are they are looking for a job. And they're very focused on building a LinkedIn profile, taking a look at the job boards.
But young people sometimes need help moving beyond the computer.
I think parents can help with their own contacts to say, who do I know who would be beneficial for you to talk to? They can explain networking to them.
And remember, what works for getting them to clean up a room will surely backfire here.
I would definitely avoid the nagging. I think they do need support, and I think the students are really looking for, the former students are really looking for a plan.
One to navigate a difficult landscape. And on the other side, that young man, Darren Forrest, in the piece was a great guy, and he said he really appreciated the fact that his parents had helped him with his education. He has part-time jobs. He's working and making money, not just hanging around the house while he's looking for that first job.
And that's how you network, too.
That's
you never know who you're going to meet in one of those jobs that might direct you to what you need to do and want to do.
What happened to you?
I know.
They're stuck sky high.
Yeah, what caused the Florida thrill ride to break down and why it took hours to save everyone?
Stepping into the ring, but the real opponent is breast cancer. Coming up, how these local women are using their boxing skills to take on the deadly disease.
And customers say she took their money and then stopped taking their calls. Coming up next, a travel agent charged with ripping off customers.
Today's weather on WBZ is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers.
Replacing a faucet or remodeling a bath? There's one place you need to visit. Frank Webb's Bath Center. It all comes down to one great room. Your dream bath. In one great place. Selection, knowledge, we're here to help. Find your Frank Webb's Bath Center at frankwebb.com.
It's the first time ever. 0% interest for 4 full years this weekend only at Barron's Major Brands. Buy all the top quality brands from New England's best appliance store and get 0% interest till 2017. But it's for a limited time only. 0%, 4 years with no money down. That's 0% interest till 2017. But a word of caution. This offer is 4 days only, ends Monday, and it's only at Barron's Major Brands.
Check out tonight's great lineup starting at 8, only on WBZ. Brought to you locally by JetBlue, you above all. At Plymouth Rock Assurance, you'll get more than what you might expect from a typical insurance company. You're treated like a person, not a number. Thanks to our unique one-stop online shopping experience, you get the best of both worlds. The convenience of online quoting and buying with the support of one of our local independent agents. If you want, our agents can help you compare prices from other companies to make sure you're getting the best policy for you. Visit us at PlymouthRock.com to find out how you can get more. More than just insurance. Plymouth Rock Assurance.
Drop everything. For 5 days only, drop everything you're doing. Or you'll miss out on the lowest ever Toyota lease payments. Drop everything and get a lowest ever $159 a month lease on this 2013 Camry. Get a lowest ever $189 a month lease on this all-wheel drive 2013 Venza. See offers not seen on TV at buyatoyota.com. Drop everything because it all ends Monday. Toyota, let's go places.
Start your day by coming together.
How you doing?
Good. To get the headlines.
We do have breaking news this morning.
Sky Eye is now there. We can give you the live picture.
To learn what's happening where you live.
Some isolated storms by midday.
There's a crash on 95 North at 128.
To share ideas.
We want to know what you think.
It is our daily talker.
In a place where you have a voice.
So we want to see your videos.
Get your kids or your coworkers together.
WBZ News in the Morning with David, Carrie, Todd, and Michelle.
Where do I sign?
Let's start the day together.
Top stories now at 5:30. A live look at the White House, where right now House Republicans are meeting with the president. The Republicans have put forth a proposal to pass a temporary rise in the debt ceiling without reopening the government.
And police in Conway, New Hampshire are trying to find this missing 14-year-old girl. Abigail Hernandez has not been seen in more than 24 hours.
And a travel agent in trouble, accused of scamming her customers. Now, customers say she sold them trips to China.
Yeah, but as our Karen Anderson tells us, those trips may not have even existed.
Oh, I was so angry, you know. I called her like many times. She didn't pick up the phone.
These people are among the 16 victims, the prosecutors say. 57-year-old travel agent Linda Doe bilked out of plane ticket money as part of a larceny scheme. This woman says she was stuck in China.
I can't come back with my son because I don't have ticket. She didn't buy the ticket for me.
This man, speaking through a translator, says he booked flights for 9 family members through Doe and spent over $7,000 for tickets.
So we called the airline to find out whether or not we have reservation. It turns out that there was no reservation under a name.
Prosecutors say Doe, who owns Olympic Travel in Boston, billed people a total of $16,000 for non-existent flights to China. 9 of the 16 victims are over the age of 60.
What do you say to people who say you took their money?
I don't know.
We asked Doe to respond to the charges. She told us her travel agency, which she's run for 15 years, has gone bankrupt.
What happened with the business?
It's slow, you know. A lot of travel agency closed.
Doe's attorney says this is all part of her bankruptcy. Those who lost money want her to pay and give back their passports.
So we were planning to bring my parents, who are 94 years old. They wanted to visit China once more, and now we don't know what we're going to do.
The judge allowed Doe to go home with an electronic bracelet and ordered her back here tomorrow with proof of her bankruptcy. In Boston, Karen Anderson, WBZ News.
Well, there's a big holiday weekend coming up, and we need to keep an eye on the weather. A coastal storm could affect us, so let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Eric Fisher. Eric?
Well, Paula, we're going to be looking at a lot of clouds, but I don't think a lot of rainfall over the next few days. Big, sprawling storm system now, the center of which is way down here into North Carolina, but we have been seeing some of those clouds today, more of a high mid-level clouds, so some filtered sunshine. It wasn't exactly a dark, overcast type of day. It's this high pressure to the north. It's funneling in some drier air at the lower levels of the atmosphere, and that kind of undercuts some of that rain as it moves north. So the best chance of rain tonight, tomorrow, and into the day on Saturday morning. It's going to be right along the coastline. A lot of clouds elsewhere. We're going to go in-depth region by region coming up in just a few minutes. Jonathan?
All right, thanks, Eric. It turns out that a fire that killed an elderly man over the summer was a case of arson. 65-year-old Alfred DeMusi died in July when his home in Nashua, New Hampshire exploded and burned. The fire marshal's office now says that that fire was intentionally lit in one of the upstairs bedrooms. Both authorities are not releasing any more information about this. And coming up for us tonight at 11 o'clock, you've seen the troubling headlines. Teachers charged with sex crimes. Well, our I-team investigates what's happening after class.
Where are teachers making the mistake?
I think they're making this mistake of building a personal relationship with students that crosses a clear boundary.
Some of the disturbing cases the I-team found and what some experts say is causing this problem. Again, that's tonight at 11 o'clock.
Turning to campaign 2014 and an early look at the race for governor. The primary is nearly a year away, but the Democrats may already be in a good position to hold on to the State House. A poll by Western New England College found Democrat Martha Coakley would beat Republican Charlie Baker in a head-to-head matchup 54 to 34%. And Treasurer Steve Grossman also beats Baker head-to-head 43% to 30%. But a quarter of the voters polled say they are still undecided. There's incredible drama in Libya today. Gunmen kidnapped the prime minister.
Well, we can report he's now safe, but as Tina Krause shows us, this may be retaliation for something American troops did.
Libya's prime minister pushed through crowds as he arrived at his office after being abducted hours earlier. Ali Zidane blamed political rivals for his kidnapping and reassured foreign visitors they are safe. A gang of armed men grabbed the prime minister at dawn from the Tripoli hotel where he's been living under tight security. His abduction is believed to be retaliation for a U.S. raid in Libya last weekend that captured a suspected al-Qaeda leader. The head of hotel security says the gunman arrived with an arrest warrant, but the justice minister denied any warrant was issued. The militia said it arrested Zidane after U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said Libya had a role in the weekend capture of Abu Anas al-Libi. The prime minister was reportedly freed after another armed group stormed the site where he was being held. Some believe Zidane is the latest victim of a power struggle between power-hungry militias 2 years after the revolution that overthrew Muammar Gaddafi. Tina Krause, CBS News.
The man who kidnapped and held 3 Cleveland women hostage for a decade may not have intended to commit suicide. There's a report now by the Ohio Department of Corrections saying that Ariel Castro may have accidentally died during a sexual act. The report also says that 2 of the guards falsified their logs to make it appear that they had checked on Castro when they really hadn't. Surveillance video does show the guards checking on Castro twice just before his death. And neighbors say the former police officer who opened fire on a federal courthouse in West Virginia had cancer. Thomas Picard of Ohio was shot and killed after he fired more than a dozen rounds at the courthouse in Wheeling, West Virginia. No one else was seriously hurt. Neighbors say that Picard recently told them that he had stomach cancer, but no one can explain yet why he opened fire on the courthouse.
The state's deal with the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe over the Taunton Casino has passed its first test. The House of Representatives approved the gaming compact yesterday. The Senate still has to vote. If the tribe builds a casino in Taunton, the compact gives the state at least 15% of the revenue. Well, it really is the question of our time. Should the government be able to get your cell phone information showing where you are without a warrant? That was the argument before the state's Supreme Judicial Court today. The state says it does not need a warrant or even probable cause that a crime was committed to get that data. An attorney for the ACLU says that is a constitutional issue.
Where you are is basically who you are. If the government knows where you are, it knows whether you're going to the doctor's office, to Planned Parenthood, to the gun store, to the therapist, everything. And that information is so intrusive that we think the Commonwealth should have to get a warrant.
So this is going to be big. We'll keep our eye on it. The SJC is expected to decide the case in the next several months.
Still to come for us, the horror of Alzheimer's disease and the discovery that could be the first step to finding a cure.
And she has inspired the world. But can Malala overcome even Jon Stewart's cynicism? The Daily Show hosts funny, very honest reaction to her visit.
Drop everything. For 5 days only, drop everything you're doing. Or you'll miss out on the lowest lease payments ever on 4-wheel drive Toyotas. Drop everything and get a lowest ever $189 a month lease on a stylish 2013 Venza. Get a lowest ever $299 a month lease on an all-new 2014 Tundra Double Cab SR5. Plus, get 2 years no-cost maintenance. Drop everything because it all ends Monday. Toyota, let's go places.
It's made with wholesome ingredients. It tastes great and it's competitively priced. That's H&K approved. Hearth & Kettle's three-part approval process ensures that every meal coming out of our kitchens meets high standards for quality, taste, and value. Many of our ingredients are organic or all natural and free of hormones, antibiotics, and artificial preservatives. Wholesome ingredients, great taste, competitively priced. That's H&K approved. It's Hearth & Kettle's Oktoberfest. Pork schnitzel, kielbasa, beer-battered fish and chips, and more.
How may I help you?
I can't do this anymore.
Excuse me?
I found another coffee, okay? It's Cumberland Farms Farmhouse Blend.
I don't understand.
It's so delicious. And it's just 99 cents any size. Go back to the way things were. Are you crying?
People have fallen in love with Cumberland Farms Farmhouse Blend coffee. So delicious at just 99 cents any size. Right now, get a free Farmhouse Blend coffee every Friday through October 25th.
The word is getting out.
He may have leaked the whole database.
Oh my God. Entertainment Weekly calls The Fifth Estate edgy and exciting.
You still want to tell me you think it's just a little website?
It's a first-rate thriller that moves like a freight train.
He's not a journalist. He's a threat to national security.
And Rolling Stone raves The Fifth Estate is potent and provocative. We need to crush these guys. It's as good as it gets.
If you want the truth, you should seek it out for yourself.
The Fifth Estate, rated R. In theaters October 18th.
Women's issues are family issues. When women get shortchanged at work, when we're not allowed to make decisions about our own bodies, when we can't afford to send our kids to college and our parents can't count on Social Security, it hurts everyone. The Republican extremists pay lip service to family values. I'll actually fight for families. These are our three sons. They'll do better in an America where everyone does better. I'm Catherine Clark, and I approve this message.
Adams, Hancock, Revere, Columbus. Here in New England, we're surrounded by historical figures and we celebrate many traditions, but none bigger than the Columbus Day Savings Event, going on now at your New England Honda dealers. Discover historic savings on the Civic, Accord, CR-V, Pilot, and Odyssey. Lease the fuel-efficient all-wheel drive CR-V for just $249 a month. Hurry in before this year's Columbus Day Savings Event is history at your New England Honda dealers.
Universal Studios in Florida says it was a technical glitch. And that was the reason a roller coaster stopped, stranding more than a dozen riders. Take a look at this. The riders were stuck on the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket for about 2 hours. Universal says the safety brakes locked in place. I guess if anything's going to happen, that's good. Firefighters had to figure out a plan to get everyone off safely. Their first step was to bring the first car to the top of the coaster track.
Once we got it to a horizontal position, then our guys can go ahead and put the victims in harnesses, and then we're able to walk them off the ride.
You were literally feeling like you're about to fall out the back of it when you were going up. So I can imagine being in that last car.
Well, I've mentioned some person who's terrified but did it for the fun of it. One person was taken to the hospital, but the ride did reopen today.
They wanted a thrill ride?
Oh, boy.
They got a thrill ride.
They did.
She has charmed and inspired the world with her bravery. Now activist Malala has done something even more impressive. She left Jon Stewart speechless. The teenager who was shot and nearly killed by the Taliban for speaking up about educating women appeared on The Daily Show this week. She spoke about life under the Taliban and why she is fighting for equality. And she clearly impressed the cynical Stewart.
I know your father is backstage, and he's very proud of you. But would he be mad if I adopted you?
Well, today, Malala won the European Union's top human rights prize, and tomorrow, when the Nobel Peace Prize is awarded, many think the committee will call Malala's name.
Hope so. Up next, boxers beating up breast cancer. The women teaming up for a very unique fundraiser.
And watching a storm moving up the coast will have some impact on our holiday weekend. We talk about that on the other side of the break.
And as we head to break, here's a quick look at what's hot tonight on CBSBoston.com. We are back right after this.
On the next Patriots All Access, is Gronk ready to return? How much he can help the Pats? Plus, Coach Belichick breaks down the Saints. And Danny Amendola on why he loves the game. Friday at 7 on WBZ, your home for the Patriots.
It's one of Boston's biggest events. It all happens right here along the Charles. Over 9,000 athletes competing in the world's largest two-day rowing competition.
The Head of the Charles Regatta, October 19th and 20th. Proudly sponsored by CBS Boston.
Good evening, this is Flo. Yes, send that, Flo. Aren't you sweet?
Licensed phone reps available 24/7. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
This is the new award-winning lineup at the Jeep Celebration event. This is rediscovering what it's like to discover, where your view of the world gets a brand new lens. This is doing what you were born to do and letting your imagination run wild. Rediscover adventure at the Jeep Celebration event. Get a low-mileage lease on 2014 Patriot Latitude front-wheel drive for $179 a month for well-qualified lessees.
There are a number of new reasons to look at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts for your Medicare options. The name you know so well now has options you may not know, starting with new Blue Cross Medicare plans as low as $0. These plans include everything from routine annual physicals to hearing and vision exams, and prescription drugs. And we have an affordable individual dental plan too. Call us for information and to request our free guide to Medicare. And of course, these plans all come with the peace of mind of Blue Cross. So call 1-888-800-8445 for your free copy of your guide to Medicare with no obligation. You've got a number of reasons to go with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you do free exam and x-rays?
Exam and x-rays? Yes.
Free?
No.
No free exam and x-rays.
Exam, yes. X-rays, yes. Free? No.
You're nodding yes, but saying no.
Yes to no. No.
Okay, hold it. Let's try something new.
Are my first exam and x-rays free?
Completely free.
Free?
Zip, zero, nada.
Nice.
Aspen Dental is doing whatever it takes to give America a healthy mouth. Free exams and x-rays. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL because your mouth is our mission. Drop everything. For 5 days only, drop everything you're doing. Get 0 for 60 plus $1,000 bonus cash on 2013 Camrys. Drop everything because it all ends Monday. Toyota, let's go places.
Beep, bop, boop, bop, boop, beep.
She says switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds.
Call or click today.
Today's stock update is brought to you by Avidia Bank. Visit us at avidiabank.com. Tonight's partnership profile is brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim. Count us in.
They train hard, they're in phenomenal shape, and they're working together to deliver a knockout punch to breast cancer.
That's the goal of Haymakers for Hope. And for the first time, the fight card is all women fighting for a cause. They're calling this one the Bells of the Brawl, an amateur event where all the boxers compete in their first sanctioned bouts. Most of the money raised goes to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and for some of the fighters, this is personal.
My sister's a breast cancer survivor, and I just thought, you know what, I want to be a part of something that uniquely challenges yourself.
I'm a woman in my mid-30s and it could happen to me, and I just want to do something about it, be proactive.
It's the brainchild of an organization called Haymakers for Hope, a partnership between boxers, local gyms, and volunteers working together for a common goal.
I was completely inspired. It's a great organization raising money for cancer and doing something that I love to do, which is to box.
This will be the 4th Boston fundraiser, the first with an all-female card.
On October 17th, we are putting on an event with 11 fights, so 22 women, and all the proceeds will go to breast cancer research and awareness. We've raised about $1.5 million in a little more than 2 years.
I've wanted to change some lifestyle habits of mine, so I actually, through boxing, have lost over 100 pounds. This is a great experience and to showcase all the hard work that I've done and do some good while I'm doing it.
There's lots of charity events, but Boxing is something that has given me inner strength, focus.
And they'll share that in the ring, working together to bring hope.
I hope it helps to find a cure and that horrible disease.
The Bells of the Brawl fundraiser is next Thursday at the Royal Nightclub in Boston. For details, just go to our website, cbsboston.com. And while you're there, tell us about some people you know who are making a difference in their communities.
A friend of mine from the gym is one of the boxers. She's been training so hard for this, and she's so excited. So good luck to all the boxers for that. And, you know, when we have an overcast day like this, I got to say, the leaves really stand out.
It makes the foliage pop. And we have a
foliage or a foliage?
Right, this is the great debate, right? Foliage, some people say, but it's foliage.
I think it's foliage. This is from the Needham Cam. Great colors popping here. We had wave 1 of peak color kind of blown away on Monday with some of those storms, and now peak number 2 is starting to approach. Columbus Day weekend, typically a time we get some great color all across New England, and certainly in the lower elevations. We'll expect that this weekend. We're watching our large coastal storms not moving all that much. It's a cutoff low, meaning it's cut off from the jet stream, nothing pushing it out of the way. Wet weather will largely stay to our south this weekend. There'll be some rough seas, some big waves all the way through at least Sunday. In terms of rainfall, though, no big totals expected. We've had the clouds today. It's been mainly a mid and high level cloud deck. So the sun's been making its way through at times. It's been a fairly bright day, even with the clouds. The center of the storm is way down here into the Outer Banks of North Carolina, so it's sprawled out at this point. But in terms of the rain, few sprinkles, some drizzle, trying to move toward Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. I think they will lift up toward the Cape and the South Coast as we head through tonight. And that's the best chance of seeing wet weather. It's going to be as far south as you can go in Massachusetts. That goes for tonight and into tomorrow as well. Temperatures cool. They're back into the 50s for the most part. Taunton's at 61. Providence at 62. It certainly feels much more like fall today, like mid-October. You can tell the seasons are changing. Mostly cloudy for tonight. Again, milder temperatures in the 50s for the coast, and also that chance for drizzle and light showers. As we head through tonight and into tomorrow, you see the cloud deck. For the most part, it's going to stay solid. Some of these showers just brushing through the Cape and the islands. Don't expect anyone over the next 48 hours to pick up more than, say, a quarter inch. I think that would be the most we could possibly expect out of this system. Boston, I don't think we'll see any rain, by the way. Drizzle, and that would be about it. Highs tomorrow, 60 in Boston, 63 in Worcester. New Bedford looking at 61 and 63 on Nantucket with that drizzle and the cloud deck for you. Now the high pressure is the storm system, or not the storm system, but the weather feature that's really controlling things. It's funneling in the drier air, keeping that rain at bay. The best chance again is farther south. A lot of clouds for the next couple of days, socked into New England. More sunshine over the next couple of days as you move your way north. In terms of the coastal impact, brisk winds. It'll stay in the 10 to 25 mile per hour range all the way through Monday, it looks like, before that starts to work its way down. The wave heights looking at 6 to 10 feet as you move out into the open water. So for the commercial fishermen, certainly going to be a little bit rough outside. For your Columbus Day weekend, Saturday, a mainly cloudy day, a little bit of drizzle hanging on to the Cape and the islands, a little bit of sun on Sunday, better chance of sun on Monday with highs in the 60s. We move toward Cape Ann, the seacoast, and the Maine coast. Again, a mainly cloudy Saturday, maybe some drizzle to be expected there, a brighter day on Sunday, and certainly a brighter day on Monday. So it's the second half of the weekend that's looking better for us. Also looking at a low cloud deck on Saturday for the northern lakes and the mountains. Highest elevations have actually lost a lot of their leaves. And if you're talking about the Patriots getting ready for the Saints, big game at Gillette. Do think the weather is going to cooperate for this one. Mid-60s, partly sunny. Overall, pretty pleasant conditions. WBZ AccuWeather 7-day forecast shapes up like this. The problem on Saturday is that a big deck of ocean stratus is expected to move its way in. So that could bring some drizzle along with it. Not heavy rain, just pesky. Sunday's a brighter day, Monday as well, and Tuesday's looking good. Overall, we could have fared much worse with this storm.
Cannot complain.
No, I don't think so.
Won't do. All right, Eric, thank you.
Thank you, Eric. On the Health Watch this evening, a possible breakthrough in the Alzheimer's fight to cure this disease. A team of British scientists have used a drug compound to stop brain cells from dying in mice. Scientists need to do a lot more testing here on mice and on humans, and a drug would be more than 10 years away, but it's very encouraging. And surviving a stroke can take years off of your life, because a study just published in the Journal of Neurology looked at the survival rates of hundreds of stroke patients. The scientists found that having a severe stroke can shorten your life by more than 4 years, and having a very small stroke reduces your life by 2 years.
A Florida family is dealing with a rather unusual problem. Their in-ground pool, well, it isn't in-ground anymore. Take a look. After the Pedraza family drained and cleaned their pool over the weekend, it popped out. They thought it was because of a sinkhole, but it's not. Groundwater is forcing the pool and the patio up, and so the family just found out insurance won't cover it.
You pay for an insurance policy assuming that you have coverage, and the coverage isn't actually there when you go to file the claims.
What a nightmare. The insurance company did offer them $1,500. The family says that'll only cover the cost of an engineer who could survey the damage.
Well, Boston's public pianos have struck a chord with leaders in New Bedford. Man, there's been some talented pianists who've sat down to play. 75 public pianos have been placed around Boston. Well, now New Bedford is looking at the idea of trying something similar. The Standard Times reports that a city councilor and a local artists group are both pushing the idea, though New Bedford would look at installing just about 10 public pianos.
I think every town should have one.
It's great, and some of the people who sit down are phenomenal.
Especially around here.
Yeah,
a lot of music
a lot
students.
of talent. Still to come for us, staying in shape as you get older.
The one exercise session you can do just once a week that will really pay off.
Hello, I'm Jack Williams. Coming up in a few moments on our 6 o'clock news, 2 popular drugs linked to drug overdoses, 2 popular clubs, I should say. The city makes a ruling on possible violations against Bank of America Pavilion and the House of Blues. Though we've lost another one, it was once the highest grossing restaurant in the U.S., but times have changed. Another popular eatery closing its doors.
We witness it every day. Neighbors, family, friends, all pitching in to help one another. To see even more true stories of inspiration, dedication, and partnership, visit harvardpilgrim.org/teamwork. Harvard Pilgrim. Count us in.
Let's go places. The lionfish is well known for its venomous buzz, predatory nature, and fearless fashion sense. Zebra print, bold choice. The new aquarium experience. More animals, more exhibits, more incredible.
At UMass Amherst, the Commonwealth's flagship campus, we stand for progress. From the discoveries in our new life science laboratories, to our graduate work in renewable energy, to our advancements in life-saving storm tracking technology, and our mission to modernize some of the state's oldest native industries. At UMass Amherst, we don't just think about the future of Massachusetts, we help define it.
This is Bob's new Honda Accord. The same car that'll pick his daughter up around the corner after her first date.
I'll be there soon, all right?
And come to her rescue when the love of her life breaks her heart. The car he'll use to show her parallel parking really isn't so hard. And the car that will be the best graduation gift ever. Start something special now with the Accord. Named one of Car and Driver's 10 Best a record 27 times. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
You know, finding time for a workout is not always easy, but a little can go a long way when it comes to staying fit, especially as we get older, as David Wade shows us.
When you're getting older, staying fit is a little more challenging, but the key could be strength training.
You can maintain your muscle mass at the same mass you had at age 20 all the way at least to age 85.
The best part, you don't have to spend hours at the gym. One weightlifting session a week could do the trick.
We all need to do it about 30 minutes a week. That's all it takes, just 30 minutes to maintain our muscle mass.
Any kind of strength training will do. Machines, free weights, push-ups, pull-ups, and eating a healthy diet is also good for the muscles.
If you have some what we call healthy protein right after each of the resistance training sessions you do, it seems to provide those muscles with extra strength or extra building power.
But don't let stress ruin the workout.
Stress decreases the ability to build protein, and it decreases your muscle mass.
And there's an added benefit of adding strength training to your routine. The more muscle you have, the more calories you will burn. I'm David Wade, WBZ News.
That is going to do it for us at 5 o'clock, but there's much more straight ahead because the news at 6 starts now.
Struggling to survive for hours in the ocean.
As the ship got closer to it, we saw a man standing on top of the white object, which we didn't know at the time was a boat, waving his hands really frantically.
How an Amesbury couple on a cruise helped to save 3 stranded boaters in the Caribbean.
The trooper accused in a deadly crash faces a judge. What we've learned about the moments right after the collision.
A big mess along the East Coast, clouds and rain lifting in our direction. We'll talk about how it'll impact our holiday weekend.
And an end of an era en route on the wildly popular restaurant closing its doors.
Live from Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts right now.
Saved by a couple's love of the stars and ocean air, 3 boaters are alive tonight after being stranded at sea for 10 hours. Good evening, I'm Paula, Ebben in for Lisa Hughes.
And I'm Jack Williams. The situation was certainly dire until an Amesbury husband and wife on a Caribbean cruise heard faint whistling and then cries for help. It was during the nighttime. Roy and Kendra Nagy couldn't see anybody, but they quickly informed the ship's captain anyway. Christina Hager joins us live in the Satellite Center with more on a close call. Christina.
Well, Jack, Roy and Kendra Nagy took off on their cruise ship from San Juan, Puerto Rico, September 28th. They were headed for St. Martin, and they had no idea at that point that there was a much smaller speedboat on the same route that would run into some big trouble.
The most important vacation photo from Roy and Kendra Nagy's cruise, posing with 3 sea-weary men who spent 10 hours on their sinking boat. Today, he thinks fate had something to do with his wife waking up in the middle of their first night. See the sliding glass doors in the ship cabin? She opened theirs wide so they could hear the ocean.
We started to go back to sleep, and right after that, we heard voices out in the water. We heard some guy yelling, "Hey, hey, hey." We sat and thought about it for, a minute, and then we said, someone's out there, and, we better make a call.
Turns out 2 other couples also thought they heard someone crying for help in the distance. And the crew took this seriously, circling the cruise ship back around, turning on the floodlights. After about an hour of this, there it was.
And then when it finally hit on something, an object that was clearly sticking out of the water a little bit, that was a rush. As the ship got close, he saw the guy waving. That's when we really got goosebumps.
The ship's captain launched a small rescue boat to pull them out. The Nagys never got their names, but we tracked down at least one of them, Matt Spencer, who at one point was trapped in the cabin of his upside-down boat.
I really just took away with it that there's a lot of really nice and beautiful people in the world.
Nagy says his smile in the photos comes from relief that he picked up the phone and made that call. Such a small gesture, all the difference.
We still get goosebumps thinking about it.
A Royal Caribbean Cruise spokesperson sent us a statement saying, "We're just glad we were at the right place at the right time to help them." In the Satellite Center, I'm Christina Hager, WBZ News. Jack, back to you.
All right, Christina, thank you very much. Now some developing news happening in New Hampshire. Let's take you to a news conference on that missing girl, the Conway teen.
14-year-old Abigail Hernandez missing since yesterday afternoon. She left Kennett High School and hasn't been seen since. She vanished. We're going to bring you that news conference. Police believe that she might have made it home before she disappeared. Let's listen.
On the disappearance of Abigail Hernandez, was the date of birth of October 12th, 1998. We are treating this as a missing persons case and nothing more than that at this point. There is no reason to believe that there is anything more than a missing case right now. All agencies are collaborating together to find Abigail and bring her home. We have a missing poster, missing person poster on the FBI website. We have searched the areas where Abigail was last seen, and those searches will continue later tonight and into tomorrow. We do have a tip line that's set up right now. That number is 603-356-5717. That is all I have right now. Chief, are there anything about this that is suspicious? There is nothing that is suspicious at this point.
Chief, can you talk about what you found today? What was discovered today in the investigation?
We're not going to go into what has been found or what has not been found.
Can you talk about the various agencies that are involved? Is the FBI involved?
The FBI is here. Like I said before, we're just all collaborating to bring Abigail home.
Chief, is there specific information that led you to certain areas where you were looking today? It seemed there were heavy concentrations in a couple of specific areas.
indications that we have about anything was that those were the last places that she was seen.
Any of her social media accounts, anything turn up?
Well, we've been listening in to the Conway police chief updating the situation in Conway. So 14-year-old Abigail Hernandez, missing since yesterday. Police believe she made it home, Jack, before she disappeared. They've been searching all day using dogs, and you heard the chief there say they are treating this as a missing persons case and have no reason to believe at this point that it's anything more.
Well, we certainly hope so, and we'll continue to monitor the situation, but again, that's somewhat positive. Again, considering this is a missing persons case and no foul play suspected yet.
In the meantime, as we head into a big holiday weekend, let's get to our chief meteorologist, Eric Fisher, who has the details on our AccuWeather forecast. Hi, Eric.
Hey there, Paula and Jack. Good evening, everybody. Still watching a big storm that is in no big hurry to move all that much up the coastline, which will be good news for our holiday weekend plans. Let's take a look at it a little bit closer. The center of it is back down toward North Carolina. We've seen the clouds streaming up today. The rain hasn't made it yet. A little bit of drizzle trying to reach over toward Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. Eventually, it should get there tonight. Everyone else is dry, mostly cloudy skies overnight, temperatures in the 40s and low 50s at the coast. We'll see some of that drizzle move in, South Coast, Buzzards Bay area. You too might see some of that before the night is done. But the idea is, as we head through the next 3 days, as the storm sits and spins, the vast majority of the rain is going to be off to our south and west. Yes, we will see some clouds, but I don't think it'll have a major weekend impact. We're going to talk more about this coming up in just a short while. Jack?
Okay, Eric, thank you. Well, guess what? We're certainly thinking a lot about baseball. Thousands will be headed into Boston for Game 1 of the ALCS. Detroit and Oakland are facing off tonight for a chance to face the Red Sox. Steve Burton, he's live at Fenway Park right now. Steve, I guess the Red Sox are ready for either team.
Absolutely, Jack. However, if you ask any of these guys which team they'd rather play, they'd all say the same thing. It doesn't matter, but I'm not buying it. I'm just waiting for one of these guys to step up and say how they really feel. Oh, well, in the meantime, the Red Sox had a workout this afternoon. Indeed, they did. There's a light workout here this afternoon. The boys worked on their fielding and also took some batting practice. They'll do the same thing tomorrow to hopefully stay sharp before the ALCS begins.
Yeah, I mean, we've played I think we've won 100 games this year, so we've won them a lot of different ways. So, you know, we're just excited to get out there. We've stayed pretty level-headed the whole season. You know, we've had ups and downs, but we've been able to kind of focus on the next day. You know, not get too ahead of ourselves and kind of erase any bad things that have happened and focus on the positives.
So we may not know the opponent just yet, but we do know the schedule. We'll have that for you coming up in sports. Jack?
All right, Steve, thank you.
Well, tonight, President Obama and Republican leaders are meeting at the White House to discuss a possible end to the government shutdown and extension of the debt limit. We're awaiting any word from the president coming out of these meetings. But for more on the government negotiations, Johnathan Elias joins us now. Johnathan?
Now, Paula, so far we've been getting mixed messages from lawmakers. House Speaker John Boehner proposed a 6-week increase to the federal debt limit if the president agreed to fresh talks on spending cuts. And a spokesperson for President Obama says, you know what? He's very likely to sign such an extension. However, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid says Democrats will not negotiate during the shutdown.
Let's wait and see what the House does. When they send us something, we'll look at it as clearly and as closely as we can, under the same determination that we've made. Open the government. There is so much pain and suffering out there.
I don't want to put anything on the table. I don't want to take anything off the table. That's why we want to have this conversation.
Just the prospect of an end to this shutdown led to some very happy investors. The stock market had its best day since January 2nd. The Dow shot up 323 points. The Obama administration has warned unless the debt ceiling is raised, the government will lower its ability to borrow money by next week and could go into default. And again, we are watching the White House closely. There is some activity, but right now that meeting is still ongoing. When it breaks up, we'll let you know. Jack?
Johnathan, thank you. A not guilty plea for that state trooper accused in a drunk-driving crash that killed a Carver mother and daughter.
John Bassler used a cane to walk into court this morning. Police say blood tests show Bassler had twice the legal limit of alcohol in his system when the tragedy happened. As Jim Smith explains, the victim's friends say they're just trying to move past any anger.
Oh, it's a shame. Big-time shame.
Robert Hahns knew Susan and Juliet Mackey ever since Juliet was a baby.
a mother and daughter loved by many, both killed in a September 22nd head-on crash in Plymouth.
They were coming back from the Red Sox game, and they just have the tightest bonding relationship that I ever seen, you know, amongst a mother-daughter relationship.
That he not own or possess any firearms, and that he abstained from drinking alcohol.
Today, the person behind the wheel of the other car faced drunk driving charges. State Trooper John Bassler, who was off duty that night. Police reports now show that Bassler was at a house party that night, and his blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit.
I really don't want to comment. I don't want to play it out at all. And as we go forward, we'll have more to say.
The court documents also show friends said Bassler had his gun with him that night, but he threw it into the woods after the accident, a weapon that was later discovered by police. There was no sign of the Mackey family here in court today, but everybody who knew this mother and daughter is still struggling to come to terms with what has happened.
I'm sure the kid is a good kid. He messed up.
Bassler is not charged with vehicular homicide, but he does face other accusations including drunk driving, negligent operation of a motor vehicle, and possessing a firearm while intoxicated. In Plymouth, Jim Smith, WBZ News.
Coming up, it was a major moneymaker on Route 1. But that was then. This is now. The popular restaurant closing its doors for good.
A string of overdoses at Boston music venues. The city rules on possible violations at the House of Blues and the Bank of America Pavilion.
And a cool October evening, sun going down as we speak. We'll talk about how much of that sun we'll see this weekend when we come back.
Yes, Boston is growing and attracting new people, but the high cost of living makes it hard for seniors and middle-class families to stay in the city. We continue to lose too many young people to senseless gun violence. We have to do better than that. I will be a mayor for the whole city, for every resident in every neighborhood.
I'm Bud Jackson, Chair of American Working Families, and American Working Families approved and paid for this message.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you do free exam and x-rays?
Exam and x-rays? Yes.
Free?
No.
No free exam and x-rays.
Exam, yes. X-rays, yes. Free? No.
You're nodding yes, but saying no.
Yes to no. No.
Okay, hold it. Let's try something new.
Are my first exam and x-rays free?
Completely free.
Free?
Zip, zero, nada.
Nice.
Aspen Dental is doing whatever it takes to give America a healthy mouth, like offering free exams and x-rays. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL, because your mouth is our mission.
Get ready for bigger, better offers at Foxwoods Resort Casino. Enjoy 10 times free odds on craps. No big buy bets. Plus, we'll match any offer up to $500 from competitors. And we're just getting revved up. Win cash, gas cards, or a Lincoln MKZ October 27th. Earn double entries on Sundays, starting October 6th. Not a Foxwoods member yet? Trade your current competitor card for a new Foxwoods Rewards card at an equal level. Only at Foxwoods Resort Casino.
Drop everything. For 5 days only, drop everything you're doing. Get special Toyota 5-day sales event deals through Monday. Drop everything, because it all ends Monday. Toyota, let's go places. Don't miss America's favorite foursome from the most beloved television program in history. Live and in color for the very first time. I Love Lucy, live on stage.
Coming December 3rd through 22nd. Get tickets at LexusBroadwayInBoston.com.
What a wonderful thing movement is. There is no greater gift we've been given than our ability to move at will. And when we lose that ability, we'll do anything to regain it. New England Baptist Hospital is the only hospital in New England that specializes exclusively in musculoskeletal care and is recognized as one of the best orthopedic programs in the country. We are 100% devoted to keeping you moving, because movement restored is a wonderful thing too.
Occasionally you ask yourself, how did I get here? Here, terrified and delighted for exactly the 9th time today. Was it just hard work or smart choices? Like choosing Rite Aid for new senior benefits from Wellness 65 Plus, with points for every prescription, even Medicare, that earns seniors up to 20% off the whole store, fast, to keep you here. Now that you've actually gotten here, enroll free in Wellness 65 Plus today.
For For more than 50 years, it's been a staple of the landscape on Route 1 in Saugus. The iconic cactus outside the Hilltop restaurant, the plastic cows outside. But now that image could fade away as owners announce they plan to close. The Hilltop was the place to see and be seen back in the day, but the current owners say a dramatic drop in business has simply forced them to shut their doors.
Ken McLeod spoke with the original owner's family today, and Ken joins us live in Saugus right now.
Jack, in its heyday, this restaurant was the highest volume restaurant, not just in the Boston area, not just on the East Coast, but in the entire country. Now think about this for a second. On a typical pack-a-min night, one night, 50 cooks and 180 waitresses would serve more than 5,000 meals. The Giuffrida family hovered around a scrapbook packed with praise today and reflected.
He really, truly loved the Hilltop.
She's talking about her late husband, Frank, a friendly butcher with a 6th grade education who opened the Hilltop Steakhouse in 1961.
And he just gave them good value. That was it.
He built it into a 1,300-seat juggernaut where crowds waited in line to spend $60 million a year.
You never knew he had what he had, because he acted just like everybody else.
Indeed, Frank Giuffrida was a humble, simple man, and his meat and potatoes menu echoed that.
He was a hard worker. Blood, sweat, and tears was poured into the restaurant.
Which became a Route 1 landmark during Frank's 3-decade reign, with its fiberglass cows and 68-foot cactus.
Most people know the cactus.
He had a dream about that side, and I'll never forget it.
But now, a quarter-century and a few owners since Frank sold the place, the customer base at Hilltop has both aged and shrunk dramatically. At the end of next week, it'll close for good.
It's just a sad, sad day. That's all I could say.
But what will stick around for the proud Giuffrida family are some wonderful memories of a place where they spent so much of their lives side by side.
And that's success, when you really work hard and you really put your heart and soul into something that you believe in.
It was a lot of work, but we loved it.
Frank Giuffrida wasn't planning to put his name on the cactus. He argued customers couldn't care less and couldn't pronounce it anyway, but a cashier convinced him to do it. After a 52-year run, the last steak here will be served on Sunday, October 20th. Live in Saugus tonight, Ken McLeod, WBZ News. And Jack, I have it on good authority that you've had a meal or two here.
Have indeed, and used to show up there and they'd have the lines of people all the way around the corner of the building. But in all fairness, I haven't been there in years, Ken. I guess a lot of us went a different way.
Ken McLeod, live in Saugus tonight. Thanks so much. So yeah, another remnant from a bygone era, producer.
Yeah, Anthony's and then the Hilltop. My golly. Well,
Boston's changing.
Yeah, but let's hope that the weather's not going to be a total wash-off for the weekend. We got big plans called baseball.
Lots going on. Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher has his eye on everything. What's the latest?
We hope so anyway. And it looks like that, while it might not be the best weekend you could ever imagine in the fall, it will not be a washout by any stretch either. Cool evening tonight, feeling every bit of mid-October. Lots of 50s on the map. We had the clouds around today, mainly high and mid-level clouds, so some sunshine sneaking through. All consequence of this one sprawling storm system from Maine all the way down to the Carolinas. It's becoming a little less organized. The rain spread out in different areas. Some of those showers trying to lift up toward Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. I do think the showers and the mist is going to start to move in toward the south coast and the Cape as we head through the overnight. Staying in the 50s there, 40s inland, and as we move toward the Boston area and most of the suburbs, just mostly cloudy skies tonight and staying dry. No drizzle will be forming there. As we head through tonight and tomorrow, you notice all the cloud cover lingering around, a few of the showers just trying to tickle their way through the south coast, the islands, and the Cape. I don't think any showers or drizzle will work their way north of the Mass Pike as we head through the day on Friday. Just a damp day, a lot of clouds, maybe a few breaks of sunshine here and there, but a good coffee or tea day, that's for sure. Temperatures around 50 degrees for tomorrow morning, staying in the 50s for the most part through the morning and toward lunchtime. And the same stories we had toward the afternoon. Upper 50s to around 60, onshore flow, some drizzle, especially off toward the south, and cloudy skies as you move off toward the north, but no real significant rainfall expected. In terms of coastal impacts, east-northeasterly winds, they're here through Sunday, 10 to 25 miles per hour. Not a damaging wind, but enough to just be annoying if you're outside. And rough surf at 6 to 10 feet heights, and that too will linger all the way through Sunday. This high pressure that we've been watching to the north, it's funneling in the drier air at the lower levels, and that's what's keeping the rainfall at bay, keeping it well off to the south part of our state. And as we move towards southern Rhode Island, southern Connecticut, this is where the rain chances are much higher. Lots of clouds in here and more sunshine is moving toward northern New England. If you're leaf peeping this weekend, it is past peak for above 3,000 feet, but a lot of great color in between. Should be decent enough to get outside and really enjoy some of those good fall colors. And Jack mentioned the Sox. Cool weather, maybe some drizzle Saturday night, but otherwise no major weather issues as we head through this weekend for either of those games. Your WBZ AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Once we get to Sunday, I think we'll work in a little more sunshine. Definitely the pick of the weekend. Monday, too, looking pretty good for Columbus Day, and staying dry on Tuesday as well. Certainly could have been much worse for us here in New England. All right, Jack, Paula, back to you.
Eric, thanks. Good for leaf peeping, good for some October baseball.
Yeah, let's find out what's going on at Fenway Park. Steve Burton joins us live. Steve?
All right, Jack. All right, Paul, after tonight, we finally know which team will be coming to Boston, coming to Fenway. It's going to be either the A's or the Tigers. These two teams go at it in Game 5 tonight, and one of them will be coming to Fenway Park. As for the Red Sox, well, John Farrell said that John Lester will be the opening day starter, make that the Game 1 start for the ALCS. After a well-deserved day off, David Ortiz and company were back on the playing field here this afternoon. Looks like Big Papi giving Will Middlebrook some tips. Sox don't play again until Saturday, so they need to stay sharp, both in the field and at the plate. And even though they aren't saying who they're rooting for, the boys will be watching.
Yeah, keep an eye out, but it doesn't matter who we play.
It really doesn't. You say that?
We got to win 4 games. So whatever team comes and wants to try to take 4 away from us, not going to happen.
Will you watch Oakland, Detroit tonight?
Oh, of course, watch them regardless. We watched games last night, tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everyone's watching it. We're interested to see who we play. So we're excited.
Here's a look at the broadcast schedule for the ALCS. Game 1 will be Saturday at 8, Game 2 Sunday at 8:15. Then the scene will shift for Games 3 and 4. Game 3 will be Tuesday afternoon at 4, Game 4 Wednesday at 8. Then the if necessaries. Game 5 will be Thursday night at 8. Game 6 will be back at Fenway on Saturday the 19th at 8. And if there is a Game 7, it will be Sunday night, the 20th, also at 8 o'clock. For football, the Patriots continue to gear up for the 5-0 Saints that are coming to Foxborough on Sunday, and everybody's hoping that Rob Gronkowski will be back in the lineup. And some read tells us the big tight end is hoping for the same thing.
Yesterday, Tom Brady strategically answered questions about Rob Gronkowski.
I feel like I've kind of talked about it a lot in the last 5 weeks, so if he's there, he's there. If he's not, he's not.
And today it was 87's turn. There are reports that Rob Gronkowski will play this weekend, but he's not confirming anything.
Just been working hard towards that goal and working hard every day to achieve that. So it's going to be exciting, and when it happens, it's going to be awesome.
Once again, Gronk's status is up in the air, but Saints tight end Jimmy Graham's status is not. He's going to play, and he's a Pro Bowler, maybe the best at his position. And stopping him will be the Pats' defense, job one.
There's going to be some balls that are going to be thrown in an area that only he can catch, and we'll just have to try to make it tough, but he's a great player.
It's another week where the Pats' defense may have to play lights out. At Gillette Stadium, I'm Levin Reed, WBZ Sports.
I love Game 1 of the ALCS right here Saturday. Guys, back to you.
Okay, Steve Burton, thank you.
The CBS Evening News is coming up at 6:30.
Scott Pelley joins us live from New York City with a preview. Scott.
Hi, Jack, Paula. Great to be with you in Boston. All eyes are on the White House this evening, where a meeting has just broken up between the president and Republican leaders. There was hope today that they might be able to come up with a breakthrough on the government financial crisis, but the meeting has broken up. Nobody has had much to say after the meeting, which suggests that maybe it hasn't worked out the way Wall Street had hoped today. We'll have more details on what's just happened in Washington on the CBS Evening News in about 10 minutes.
All right, Scott, thank you. The drug Molly led to 1 death and overdoses at popular Boston clubs. And today, Boston's ruling on the venue's possible violation.
New tonight.
We are going to follow him and divine his nefarious plan.
Can you just stop saying nefarious?
It's the world's greatest detective.
Excellent.
Versus internet vigilantes.
Oh yeah, the hackers from the news.
They prefer cyber activists.
But we're tracking them down.
They could just get into our computers like that?
Well, amongst other places.
Get Sherlock Holmes.
They plan to subject us to a life ruin.
Locked up. Discover the hit drama Elementary, CBS Tonight.
Experience over 40,000 square feet of American-made solid wood furnishings at LaChance Furniture. Choose from over 50 quality brands at outlet prices. LaChance Furniture Showrooms. Take a ride to Gardner and see the difference.
At UMass Amherst, the Commonwealth's flagship campus, we stand for progress. From the discoveries in our new life science laboratories, to our graduate work in renewable energy, to our advancements in life-saving storm tracking technology, and our mission to modernize some of the state's oldest native industries. At UMass Amherst, we don't just think about the future of Massachusetts, we help define it.
Drop everything. For 5 days only, drop everything you're doing. Or you'll miss out on the lowest lease payments ever on four-wheel drive Toyotas. Drop everything and get a lowest ever $189 a month lease on a stylish 2013 Venza. Get a lowest ever $299 a month lease on an all-new 2014 Tundra Double Cab SR5. Plus, get 2 years no-cost maintenance. Drop everything because it all ends Monday. Toyota, let's go places.
Startups aren't for everyone. You do have to be willing to just go out on a major limb. We lived together in this terrible, tiny little apartment. I mean, there was nobody else, there was nothing else. We had laptops and we had us. We got a lot of negative feedback just from people who wrote us off for being very young and very female. The company is 100% owned by 24-year-old women, and it's doing well. We ended 2012 with 6 employees, and we're going to end 2013 with closer to 14. This isn't something that we're messing around with. This is a real company. So it's important that we offer benefits. One of the reasons that we decided to pick Blue Cross Blue Shield was because it has this legitimacy. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield. You know, I could say it kind of with swagger.
Experience over 40,000 square feet of American-made solid wood furnishings at LaChance Furniture. Choose from over 50 quality brands at outlet prices. LaChance Furniture shops. Take a ride to Gardner and see the difference.
Despite several overdoses and 1 death, 2 concert venues in Boston will not face any disciplinary action.
Yeah, the city's licensing board found the Bank of America Pavilion and the House of Blue were not responsible for the drug use. 3 people were treated for drug overdoses at the Pavilion back in August. That came just days after a 19-year-old New Hampshire girl died from an overdose of the drug Molly at the House of Blues. But testimony from police showed that she took the drug before entering the club.
We'll be right back.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Harvey Building Products. Need a contractor? Visit Harvey ProZone at harveybp.com.
Boston's future is on the line, and in the race for mayor, only 2 candidates remain: John Conley, Marty Walsh, with John Keller moderating. WBZ and the Boston Globe host Boston's mayoral debate, Tuesday, October 15th on WBZ.
Adams, Hancock, Revere, Columbus. Here in New England, we're surrounded by historical figures and we celebrate many traditions, but none bigger than the Columbus Day Savings event, going on now at your New England Honda dealers. Discover historic savings on the Civic, Accord, CR-V, Pilot, and Odyssey. Lease the award-winning new Accord for just $219 a month. Hurry in before this year's Columbus Day Savings event is history at your New England Honda dealers.
Your business deserves a bank that is truly local.
At the Low 5, we're locally governed and managed, enabling our experienced lending team to provide you the right loan fast.
The Low 5, committed to your business, committed to you.
You're about to see something amazing. Did you see it? Maybe if you knew that Ann Bung had undetected breast cancer, you would have. Thanks to genetic testing at the Mass General Cancer Center that targeted her cancer, Ann was diagnosed early and treated successfully. Now every day is an amazing day.
Olivia deserves to grow up in a safe neighborhood. David deserves to retire in dignity. Jessica deserves equal pay for equal work. My name is Peter Katujian, and I'm running for Congress. But this election isn't about me. It's about Olivia, David, and Jessica. It's about your family and my family. My name is Peter Katujian, and I approve this message because having a representative in Congress who will stand up on issues like gun violence, Social Security, and women's rights matters to all of us.
I Love Lucy, live on stage. Come be a part of a live studio audience and witness firsthand the side-splitting antics of a favorite foursome, live and in color for the very first time. TV Guide calls it the most entertaining production seen in years. Don't miss Lucy, Ricky, Fred, Ethel, and the hilarious cast of I Love Lucy live on stage.
December 3rd through 22nd at the City Emerson Colonial Theater. Tickets at LexusBroadwayInBoston.com. Drop everything. For 5 days only, drop everything you're doing. Get special Toyota 5-day sales event deals through Monday. Drop everything, because it all ends Monday. Toyota, let's go places.
The crisis in Syria. We have both Elizabeth Palmer and Clarissa Ward in Syria.
The fighting has been very heavy.
Do you have faith in America?
CBS News.
Coming up tonight at 11, it's one of the most troubling stories you see. Teachers charged with sex crimes against their students. Find out what the I-Team uncovered in Massachusetts schools and what experts say is fueling these disturbing cases. That's tonight at 11.
Well, Eric, what do you think about the weather?
What do I think? We get a lot of clouds in our future, but we don't have a lot of rain in our future. So it's around the South Coast, Cape and Islands, drizzle, showers tonight, tomorrow, into Saturday morning. But the weekend is not that bad. Sunday and Monday in particular, those are good ones.
Sound good.
A lot of sports coming up.
I know.
Yeah, big weekend.
Yeah, the big story coming up on the CBS Evening News in just a moment.
And then we'll see you right back here for WBZ News at 11. Have a good night.